Austin.
Okay, sounds good. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We've got just kind of a quick talk on powers of attorney. We understand some folks had some questions on that. So using a power of attorney in a real estate transaction, this area being a military area, it's something that we see a fair amount. You've got folks underway and, a spouse needs to buy or sell real property. So you can use obviously a power of attorney for that to, when somebody's on a ship, somebody else needs to sign for them. So we'll start with just kind of terminology. In a power of attorney, you've got a principal, you've got the agent. The principal, of course, being the person who is giving the power. And it's going to be the person who's typically unavailable or might be unavailable. So we'll have instances where, somebody could be away and they could be on a boat or could get deployed. And, some of the guys that leave in the dark of the night and going into some of that more active places. So that would be the principal, the person who signs that power of attorney. And they give the power, the ability to an agent. And, the spouse or whoever, it doesn't have to be a spouse. It could be, somebody else in the transaction. I've heard of some instances, the question that comes up is, well, can I serve the agent? Can I serve as the agent for the principal? Or can you guys serve as the agent for the principal? And I've heard that some lenders will have issues with somebody who's invested in the transaction, the real estate agent serving as an agent for a principal. And we have served at that, and that's something that we have done in the past, but I feel like we don't see it very often. So I think lenders may have an issue with that. And if we have any lenders on here, they could speak more specifically to that. And then there's a general power of attorney versus a specific power of attorney. So a general is, what it sounds. It can be used for just about everything, or a variety of things. Whereas the specific power of attorney is what often we deal with, and that is, typically limited to dealing with real property. The ones that we draft for real estate transactions are all limited or specific power of attorney. And it's dealing with for a seller, it's the sale of the specific property that they own. If it's a buyer, for the acquisition of. And then for a buyer, of course, it tends to have to be specific towards the purchase of the particular property. So once they've identified a property, put in a contract, gotten it accepted, ratified, and it's at that point we would want to have a specific power of attorney drafted for the purchase of that particular property at that sales price for using that VA entitlement. And then that kind of leads into, well, the question is, does the power of attorney authorize the contemplated transaction, sale or purchase of real estate? This is something that's usually pretty obvious from the document, and folks are able to see it. But obviously, if there are any questions, we encourage you guys just to send it over, to your favorite paralegal or directly to Susan, Sandra, myself. And we'd be happy to take a look at that. Question, of course, is if they've already got a power of attorney, do they have the original notarized power of attorney? If you're notified that, hey, so-and-so might be deployed, we may need to have, where I may need to sign for them. The question needs to be, well, do you still have that original power of attorney? Because only an original can be recorded. So, we got to find out, okay, do you have it? Is it handy? Because it will need to be relinquished. And what will happen sometimes, folks will have a general power of attorney and they're not comfortable with leaving without it. This is the only one I have. I need this for the bank or what have you. And then for those folks, we can have it either recorded before the transaction. So if they want to come into the office, we can electronically record the document, and submit it to record and give it right back to them. If we're coming close to the closing date, though, sometimes the city records take a little while to update, and it may be an issue with, if they don't want to delay closing, that may be an issue. So what we'll tell folks is, hey, just go right on down to the courthouse, and you can go right to the record room, give them the power of attorney. They will record it there on the spot, and hand it right back to you. So if folks are nervous about letting that go, there are some options there. Got to find out, is the power of attorney still in effect? Sometimes there are power of attorneys that we've seen this mostly in the military context, where the JAG prepares it for them. They'll have a duration of, this power of attorney is in effect from this date until this date. So that's obviously something we have to look at. It's not common, but it does. We've seen that before. And then there are some power of attorneys that are what's called springing. So they're only effective in the incapacitation of the principal. And that would require typically a doctor's letter stating that this person is unable to sign on their own behalf. So that would be something that would need to be obviously looked at and thought through before closing. And we encourage, obviously preparing power of attorney, that's something we'll do regularly for agents. So if you've got clients that, hey, this may be an issue, reach out to us. We'll throw that together, have it ready for them. They can pop in and sign. So that's something that we can take care of for you guys. So, and at this point, I'll pass it off to Susan to kind of cover the rest of what we have.
Good morning, everyone. Just going back a little bit on something that Austin just said, the general power of attorney, sometimes you'll have people who will have a general power of attorney already in place, but they don't have a specific. And the general power of attorney is good, can be used for a sale transaction, as long as part of the power that's granted by that general power of attorney includes the authority to sell real estate. So if you have a listing and there is a power of attorney, I strongly recommend that you have it reviewed by us or whoever you go to for settlement beforehand, to make sure that it does allow for the principal to sell real estate. Another problem that we've occasionally run into, not much recently, but in the past, is that the powers of attorney that are prepared by the JAG offices on the military bases occasionally aren't the ones they need to be. There can be ones for like household goods or property management, but not for the sale or not for the purchase. So it needs to be one that is for the type of transaction that's being done. And so those were just two things I was going to segue in on what Austin just said. Now, additional things to consider. This is weird, but recently we had a title company on the other side of a transaction who did not want to accept our seller's power of attorney because it was 8 years old. The seller, of course, couldn't sign another one. The seller was incapacitated at this point. And that's the whole reason for the power of attorney. And that was ridiculous. And the buyer's side ended up switching to a title company who would accept the 8-year-old power of attorney. But we've occasionally had problems with people being comfortable accepting really old ones. And they may want at that point some additional proof that, the person is alive still, and they may want to see a doctor's letter or something. But again, if we've looked at it, we can have some advance notice. We can get it approved by a title insurer if there's anything unusual about it. Watch out for the ones that looks like somebody just printed off the internet and then they check blocks authorizing certain powers. Those are often not favored in the industry.
Hey, Susan.
Yes.
I'm going to interrupt for a second. So the one where they said it wasn't valid, how did you win that one?
We ended up just what we ended up doing is we talked to our title insurer who underwrites with Fidelity National, and they were going through a different title insurer, and they ended up switching to Fidelity National Title just because they couldn't get the other insurer to take it. I don't know. I can't remember right now which one it was, but that was bizarre, and we've never had that happen before, and hopefully we won't run into that again.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, because I always tell everybody, like, Susan is great at litigation, but she is a beast and she has chosen not to do litigation. So, but you are good. I mean, I've seen you like get riled up in an email or with somebody, and I mean, you are really good. So I was wondering if that one was one that actually came to like an email battle where the great Susan Walker had to like send the 3 paragraphs.
I'm scarier in writing than I am in person, but it's like the Wizard of Oz, you stay behind the curtain. But anyway, no, actually the staff, Ashley and Karen took, I think, can't remember if it was Karen or Ashley's, but they took care of it and already had it lined up that Fidelity would insure it. So we didn't have to pull out any of the big guns at the office, Austin or Jesse, who are the real muscle. So anyway, let me see what else I was going to mention here. Yeah, watch out for those pre-printed forms. And then if you have any sort of concern that there could be something fishy going on, follow your gut, involve your management, involve us, because there are all sorts of court cases out there where someone misused a power of attorney to enrich themselves by selling their aunt's property in an attempt to pocket the money. I will say this should be obvious, but the proceeds from the sale of the property are going to go in the bank account in the name of the principal. They will not go in the attorney, in fact, the agent's bank account. And if anybody thinks they're going to be able to do that, that's not going to happen. So yeah, if you keep your eyes and ears open, if something seems fishy, or it looks like somebody's trying to sell a property out of a deployed person or out from under a relative, we can do some sideline research to try to ferret that out. Your lenders will have a lot to say about powers of attorney that are being used for mortgages. The lender will have to approve the power of attorney, and you want to do that as early in the transaction as possible. If we prepare it, we're going to, of course, trigger, prompt that it be sent to the lender for approval if it's for a mortgage. But if we're not preparing it and it's one they already have or the VA prepared it, do please have your lender look at it. Because there's, especially for a VA loan, there are very specific things that have to be contained in the power of attorney regarding the use of the veteran's eligibility that have to be in there. Cash purchases, not so much of a problem. It just has to say that it's, allows for the purchase of real estate, but loans, it has to be very specific. So Austin, anything else? I mean, I know Thomasina, you had some specific reasons why you wanted us to address this, and I'm not sure we've actually hit on what those questions were.
Did you? That's Lucy. Lucy will tell you how to sign the listing agreement. You guys print off exactly how you want them to sign when you do the POA, correct, Susan?
Do. Yeah. And sometimes it's driven by the lender, but typically it would be the name of the principal, say if it's Mary Smith by, and then the name of the agent, comma, POA or attorney in fact, or agent or something like that. So we'll have that specified, but you're right. For the listing, I mean, I don't know for listings and contracts, you're typically having the principal themselves sign it electronically, where you don't have to worry as much. Or if you're having the agent, the attorney in fact or the agent do the signing, but it would be the same verbiage that we would have for the contract, for the closing documents.
Yeah, Lucy is giving a thumbs up saying that she's agreeing with you the same on the listing. Chrissy has a question or statement.
With POA, if someone's deployed, how long in advance do they need for the wife? Or like,
Did you hear that, Susan?
I didn't.
Hold on. That's okay. We have a microphone.
24 hours.
excuse me for a second. Hey, Susan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I was asking, how long does your office require proof of life to use the POA prior to closing?
You're talking about like to know that they're not dead or something like that?
Yeah.
It's still alive.
Like if they're deployed, we have to hear from them.
Yeah, we don't actually, that's typically taken care of by the lender. And I don't know, it used to be a huge problem where it could take days to get, the Red Cross to verify that the service member was still alive. And I think I am going to defer to, as Austin said earlier, to the lenders as to how long that process takes. and how long they have to start before closing in order to get back the verification that the service member is still alive and hasn't revoked the power of attorney. I don't know how long it takes these days. Hoping it's
Yes,
better.
sir. We have,
Go ahead, Bill.
excuse me. So within 24 hours, we have to verify that the active duty service member is still alive. Usually that's through email, but we all know that there's a lot of team guys around here and then some submariners or submariners, I should say, around here. And if you're below a certain depth, you don't have access to email, just like if you're in the sandbox, you obviously don't have access to email at backs. So what we would do is we would, before knowing that they're going out to sea, we would get someone in their chain of command. Like, for example, if they're a submarine person, we would get someone in their squadron who's an OB that would say, yes, that they're, alive and well, basically, is that statement.
Susan, can you see the chat window there? Are you able
Yes,
to?
and Bill is reminding us that, or he added on top of what you just said there, Craig, is that if they're verifying directly with the service member, the email needs to come from their military email account, not just from a Gmail or something like that. So it has to be something that would be official. And then, yeah, in reiterating what you just said there, Craig, about the command would send if they're unable to get to the service member, or if they're deployed or at war. Is that what you're asking, Thomasina? If I could see that?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was asking. I think there was another one up here. Stacy, can you see Stacy's?
Oh, let's see. Is there any reason why someone can't just notarize a couple specific POA copies, especially when you have to take the original and record? Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't have two originals. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if it's specific. Yeah, I mean, that may be an idea if they're worried about losing one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had folks that wanted a couple of originals, especially if there was more than one agent designated. So you give each one an original. So yeah, that could definitely be done.
Does anybody else have any questions or want to say anything or anything in the chat for anybody online? I know we have about 20 people online, so. All right, well, we do have one more thing. Any chance Sandra's there, guys?
I don't see her. Sorry, she's not on. Yeah.
Okay.
I think she was handling the
Exciting.
closing.
Yeah.
Exciting news for all of our North Carolina agents. Sandra's licensed in North Carolina, and she's going to be helping out. And now we're going to have JWL doing our North Carolina closings. Jordan has volunteered. Of the agents that have been with me the longest, Jordan has used JWL from the beginning with me. So she's volunteered to do her first listing with JWL with Sandra, and Holly's going to do one. I haven't been able to speak with Carrie yet, but I'm sure she'll be on board to help out as well, so that we can kind of mold this into something that North Carolina isn't. Because yeah, helpful is not the word that's used in Carolina for attorneys. It takes a minute for them to get back to us. It's weeks. So this has been a long time coming for a lot of North Carolina agents in our office, and I'm hoping that we're going to grow that department as well. I'm super excited about it. So round of applause for JWL for having Sandra. I wanted to tell her thank you, but I'm sure that Susan and Austin will pass the good word that we're so appreciative of her. And Susan and Austin, if you would like to talk to her, if she would like to also come on here to give tidbits about North Carolina, I think that would be a great, wonderful thing. That she could do like a little, 10, 15 minutes along with what you guys do. We can elongate your half hour to have her do a little North Carolina on there. If she wants, that's up to her, but I think it would be helpful.
Yeah.
All right, so Cragen is up. Round of applause for JWL, guys. Thank you all so much.
Hey, Thomasina, I have a question for Jones Walker and Lake. I put it in the chat box.
Yes, go ahead. Oh, you did? Okay. Hold on, let me have Susan and Austin read the chat box. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Austin, do you want to address that, or do you want me to?
You can get ready.
I can't see it. I'm on my phone, but
Oh,
and I
sorry.
probably need to get a desktop thing. So I can't.
Okay.
I can't see the chat. There's something that pops up, but then it disappears. And
Oh, sure.
It says this isn't a question about POA. Feel free to ask after the POA questions. I'm working with a family whose dad passed without a will. Now his family chose who are executors of his estate and had a question and wanted to confirm a few things. Did you find out what an administrator CTE stands for? Was the first question. Oh, sorry.
I didn't look.
Yeah.
Susan, do you know? It's Latin, right?
Yeah, what I think has happened, this person has died intestate, meaning they don't have a will. And the court the family can go down to the court and have someone appointed as the administrator of the estate. But that administrator is not going to have any authority over real estate to sell or purchase real estate unless the court grants that authority. And so I think typically an administrator CTE or CTA in Virginia is where there is a will, but the person who's named as the administrator is deceased or not available to serve. So I'm not sure how that fits in this situation where there isn't even a will in the first place, but I still think it's going to end up with the same result, that if that they can't sell the property without a court order. I'm surprised that they're saying that they can decide to list, but need a court order approval to sign the deed. I think if I were the administrator, I would want to make sure that I knew the court was ultimately going to approve the sale before listing. But they probably have talked to the commissioner of accounts who's over the estate, and the commissioner has told them, yes, you can go ahead and start without initiating the court proceeding, just to make sure they get an offer and haven't wasted a lot of money starting the court proceeding, and then find out they can't sell the property.
Okay. Okay.
Is
So
that-
what would be the next steps if in case they didn't get that say so that they can sell the property? It is more so just they chose that they are now the executors, and now they're like, well, now we have this property, you don't know what to do with it now. So that's kind of where they are.
That may be specific enough that if they need legal counsel, I mean, have they decided for sure that they do want to sell it, or are they still kind of within the family trying to figure that out?
No, they definitely want to sell.
Okay. But they're not sure
Yeah.
what steps to take. Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah. So Deja and I have talked about this particular
Oh,
case.
okay.
The real estate is the only asset. So there's not really an asset to speak of. The wrinkle on this one is one of the heirs is a minor. So she's not able to sign on her own. And so the question is, well, should they have a GAL appointed for her, or go through the process of having the administrator given the ability to sell and deal with the real property? And you know, I haven't done the getting a GAL appointed enough to know kind of what that process looks like. I know it involves court involvement, and then I know once the GAL is appointed, that person is then involved with the transaction. So it seems to me if you're going to have to go before a court, the most cost efficient and time efficient method may be to actually have the administrator given the ability to sell the real property. So that's, yeah, we're kind of trying to work through that now.
Yeah.
Deja, did I get all your questions answered?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure that it's still worthwhile after we go through those steps. It's still worthwhile to go ahead and list it now and see if there's even, a contract that comes in that is going to be, worth the money for them to go through the court process. So they can
That may depend on the fees that you're going to incur, that the family would incur for this court process, compared to the value of the property. If it's a $20,000 unbuildable lot or something like that, you have to weigh the costs, I think would be the consideration. And is that what you're thinking, that you want to, I mean, you could list it, but then you're going to have a time frame for closing that's far enough out for all of this court proceeding to pan out.
Right, we got that part.
Yeah.
They're okay with that. I just wanted to make sure that it's still okay to list, to go through that court process, just to make sure that, it's still going to be worthwhile for them And there is equity there. I just wanted to make sure that this is something I'm on the right track, just to confirm it. I've heard it from Austin before. Just wanted to make sure that it's still I'm still on the right path in a sense.
Yeah, I'd keep in touch with Austin on the details of it. And of course, any offer needs to be contingent on court approval, because you're going to have court approval of one kind or the other, whether it's, through the process with the guardian ad litem or whether it's through the administrator petitioning for approval, for authority to sell the property. So it's going to involve a court either way, and it's going to take, a couple months either way. Yeah.
So let's just say that, of course, we're going to need the administrator, but the executors to sign the paperwork and to kind of be that point of contact so there's no issues. What if one of them is given pushback and no longer want to be involved? What's the process of changing the executor? Is that difficult?
The administrator, yeah, it could be. I mean, yeah, you may have to go back before the court to have that done. I mean, if you're petitioning the court to get somebody the ability to sell the property, that can be addressed at that point, obviously. But yeah,
No,
we'd
I'm
have to
not
kind of
talking
look
about
at
the
it.
administrator. I'm just talking about the executor, like the family. That's what I was referring to. Can you get who right now is 2 signers? Can you get one of them off, both of them off, and put a whole new executor on that?
I guess I'm not sure enough. I understand all the details, because typically you don't have both an executor and an administrator, because an executor is somebody who's named by a will, and is
Right.
specified in the will. So if you don't have a will, there really is not an executor, unless I'm misunderstanding, the facts of what's going on. You really only have an administrator. And typically the administrator is somebody who's gone down and qualified before the clerk of court and is not been appointed by court order, but has qualified with the clerk. And I do think you could, if that's all that was at stake and there weren't this issue with selling the real estate, they could go down and probably get another appointment with the clerk to substitute a new administrator, post a new bond. It's a hassle, but it could easily be done. So I think I'm going to tell you to follow up with Austin, because I don't know enough of the details to answer that question exactly.
Yeah, it's circumstantial because even if there was a will, and there's multiple, like, let's say that I'm just putting this in there because we don't know the whole details of this situation, Deja. It's circumstantial, so we have to get with Austin. But even if there was one with a lot of kids, siblings or whatnot, they would actually have to sign off for one of them to be the main for it, and the others would have to sign off. But depending on, it doesn't sound like there is a will on this. Is that right, Deja?
There's no will, and the grandmother and the daughter, who is both, obviously the grandma's of age, but the daughter's also of age. They're the executors. There are executors, but I was under the impression that we also need an administrator.
I don't understand how there can be, though.
That's what it had.
I would get with Austin because it sounds like it's circumstantial, just so that he can ask the right questions, Deja, to make sure that he's getting you the right answers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Okay. I'll talk to Austin.
Yeah, we can chat about it.
Yeah, because it might go into detail on this one just because of again.
Yeah, we want to get it right and not waste you or your client's time. So yeah.
And also not give the wrong answer just off of like a tidbit of information.
Good point.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks for
thank
asking.
you, Austin and Susan. Thank you so much. We appreciate you as always.
Well, we're delighted and honored to be part of your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. We love it. We love it. Thank you, guys. Round of applause for them. All right. We have Cragen up. Cragen, go ahead.
How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you, Cragen?
Good, awesome. Everybody good online?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we got a couple events coming up. Obviously, tonight we have our Sunset Boat Cruise, which is what we've been doing annually with you all. It's a good time. We do a little happy hour for about an hour or so on the dock, and then we get out to sea or underway in the Elizabeth River. We take a nice little sunset cruise, and we end at the Portsmouth Naval Hospital where they bring down the flag with colors and all that. It's really cool. And it's also co-sponsored by Prosper Insurance. They're going to be taking care of our drinks tonight. So please, if you have signed up, please come. And if you cannot come and you've signed up, please let us know. That being said, we also have a Reels class coming up on 6/21, June 21st at 9:30 at Gather, Virginia Beach. There should be a link on the Facebook page for Coastal Town. And if you need any more information on that, feel free to reach out to me directly. And yeah, that's a good one. Obviously, you all know that we do a lot of Reels, myself and my team, and obviously Thomasina. So this is not sponsored by Thomasina. I didn't mean to sound like that, but you know, we're all big into the Reels game. So we're trying to teach you all, for anybody that wants to learn more about doing Reels. That being said, the POA, I did want to touch on that. Usually if the purchase price changes for this a specific power of attorney, we would normally need to get an updated power of attorney. We just had an issue with one that had a power of attorney, and the underwriter let us fly with the power of attorney that we had because the purchase price actually went down. And I did confirm with her that if the purchase price went up, that we would have to get a new power of attorney. So FYI on that. I'm sorry. How come? No, if the house is worth more. Correct. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Yes, sir.
Can that be,
Here, hold on, wait, so they can all hear you.
can that be addressed in the POA that if the price changes to a certain percentage or amount, it's allowed?
So that's a really good question for Susan.
Or Lucy.
Or Lucy. To be honest with you, if you think you're gonna have multiple purchase prices, do multiple POAs. I know that's not what Susan and them want to hear. I don't think they're on anymore, so, or no, they are.
Here, there's Susan, here's Ann. She literally like, Ann, how?
But no, in all actuality, like multiple POAs would be my only suggestion for that. If you know that the service member is gonna be out to sea or, you know, in special ops or something.
Susan, go ahead.
Like between 3 and 350.
Hold on, let's see what Susan popped back when I saw her face. Go ahead, Susan.
We can prepare a power of attorney to say anything that anyone wants. It's just a question of whether it's acceptable to the VA within their guidelines. So we can do multiple. We've even before you had electronic signing, we would list like 3 or 4 properties, you know, because they were looking at different properties. But yeah, we can have it say whatever is needed or wanted.
Ultimately have to be underwriter in the guidelines on how that happens.
Exactly. I mean, I've read the guideline numerous times on POA. There's a general power of attorney, there's a specific power of attorney. Most lenders use a specific power of attorney, meaning you got to have, you know, it's got to be property specific with the details of the property purchase price. So that's where we really come into the problem with that. But since the price did go down, it wasn't a big deal to my underwriter. So
Thank you.
stay tuned
Susan.
if it gets sold. I don't know. I'm kidding. Question. Will the Reels class be recorded? Those of us that can't make it. That's a good question. I'll have to find out for you on that. It's just our team, Courtney and Suzanne and myself.
If you, when is it?
It's June 21st at 9:30.
It's a what? A Wednesday. Okay, if I can come, I could always use our Zoom for our people.
Okay.
To record it.
Okay.
If you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, I'll have to double check.
Yeah, double check.
I'll have to double check to make sure there's not any proprietary information. Just kidding. But no, I will check. I'll definitely check. And if that's the case, then that'd be great.
If you want to send me a text with the link and everything for them to sign up, I'll have Maria send it out to everybody.
Okay, it's on the Coastal Town Facebook page as well. I just posted it yesterday, I think. So it's on there as well. So I'll figure out how.
I should be able
Text
to
that
have
to you.
Maria do that.
Yeah. It's on there, but we'll get it. Sidebar, sorry.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
In other great news, as we know that prices have been going up everywhere. Is everybody familiar with the area median income and how that affects home loans?
Yes.
So area median income here locally has raised a little bit, especially for certain programs that we have. I don't know. We talked about, I think at our last team meeting, we talked about area median income and certain first-time home buyer programs for people that are under 80% area median income. Well, Fannie and Freddie just came out and they went up in the area median income. It's just under a hair under 80,000. It's like 79,000 and some change. So for easy math, all you have to remember, if the person makes less than $80,000 all in, then they could potentially qualify for that first time home buyers program. Yes, correct. If you go, I'll say like Elizabeth City, it's still probably going to be that. I haven't honestly looked at Virginia or North Carolina yet. I only looked at the Virginia, Southeast Virginia. But if you're in like Elizabeth City and like towards the border, it's probably that number. But if you go a little bit south to like maybe Gates or even more south than that, it probably, not probably, it definitely drops. So just feel free to reach out and I can kind of facilitate that. And that is a 3% down program. It's a really good program. Reduced mortgage insurance and a couple other great benefits to that. But the person is required to have a little bit better credit score than with an FHA loan. I'm going to read this thing off of USA Today. I'm not real big into reading things. I like to just come off the top of the head, but this was, I found this a very good article today. It's about, where did it go? Oh my gosh, I lost it. There it is. Will rent go down in 2023? I'm telling you this to give yourself fuel to your fire for your potential buyers that are renting and they're like, well, screw it, I'll just rent, because obviously that's not what we want. At least most of us that aren't property managers. But anyway, so rent again was the biggest driver of inflation. Though the increase has slowed somewhat, rent picked up at 0.5% for the third straight month, down from a string of stronger gains annually. Annually, rent was up 8.7% and down marginally for the previous month. Economists expect rent increases to ease substantially based on new leases, but that shift has been slow to filter through existing leases. What does that mean? Well, to me, that means rent's going to continue to go up, even albeit it might be a little bit lower or slower than what it did, but everything's got to slow down at some point, right? We can't continue on this highway to hell that we've been on. And as far as prices going up. And other news, the inflation, obviously we all know that inflation does what?
Controls the interest rate.
Drives interest rates. So the the inflation report came out today. And from what I can read, it came out kind of expected. And
It doesn't what? Oh, I was like, yes, it does. It always does. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, so inflation, obviously drives interest rates. I get, obviously myself and all the other lenders on here, we all get text messages every day, multiple times a day from Barry Beebe and his team at MBS Highway. And it came out on the positive. What that means for us, rates are a little bit better today. So I'm going to continue to monitor. I have a client that got a ratified contract today. So guess what? I'm probably going to lock today because it's been so damn volatile. It's so volatile. Other than that, is there any questions for me? I think that was it. No. Yeah. Thank you. Anything up there?
No, that's it. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Bill is up next. He is on here via Zoom though. So Bill Loudon, if you want to unmute, you can go ahead and have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that. So I had a few quick things to go over. We have a couple new products that we got approved for. We're able to go down to a 550 to a 580 now permitted on some FHA transactions. There are extra stipulations though that go with it. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like we can go down there, but a lot of people that have those low credit scores don't have what you need to get approved for the type loan that you're getting. And I'll go through a few of the examples. Meaning they had the max LTV is 90%. It's for a single family attached or detached, FA approved condos only. It cannot be, you can do a manual downgrade, but underwriting will decline it if it goes within certain standards. So in other words, we want to approve eligible for a 550 to a 580. That is the first thing. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about, that's kind of exciting. It opens doors for a lot of people that may have had some oops, but they have funds in the bank. A lot of self-employed people. Another thing that we are starting to do is platinum approvals on TBDs. meaning I'm collecting all the documents from the clients up front. We're sending them into underwriting. And within 7 days, as long as I collect everything that we need, like we would for a normal, not only do we have the automated DU, but we have the platinum approval, which means we can close in close to 10 days as long as the appraisal comes back, as long as it's ready to go. It also ties into any of the cash to key program that I'm going to talk to you about next is all required to have a platinum approval as well. I have spoken to Rebecca and I'm partnering with her, and I'm going to get more details out to you guys via the Facebook. Not for me, of course, because I don't have Facebook, but we will get it on posted to the Facebook about teaching the class in July for the cash to keys. We're going to cater it. I have spoken to Tom Messina, and we're going to make it Zoom available as well for anybody who cannot attend. Cash to Keys has a couple different platforms that we can talk about, meaning you don't have to have a property to do the cash to keys, but it basically just gives you buying power. It gives you leverage in the bidding wars that we're all going through right now, with having to go see multiple properties and multiple offers on the table. But to sum up the general, as long as the client qualifies, which most do, it basically gives you a cash offer. So basically Annie Mac is saying, we'll buy the house with cash, we're guaranteeing it. So if this doesn't close, you're going to close on time regardless, because we're going to close it in cash. And then we'll settle up with the borrower. The difference of this program versus Ribbon, as you remember, Ribbon was very expensive, very cost effective, not cost effective at all to the buyer. This one is very cost effective, and I'll go over all the details in the training class that we will be going through. And then Cragen, perfect, did an awesome job talking about the bond market and the rates. It's like there's 6 or 7. If you go on 6 or 7 different experts, they all 6 or 7 are predicting a decline in interest rates, but they're all saying different times and they're all saying different amounts, but they're all saying the same. So I think what we take from that is we know it's coming with inflation changes and everything else. We may not know exactly, and nobody has a crystal ball, because we know, Lord knows, the government can change on the drop of a hat what they want to do, but it is all trending that direction. So I just wanted to tell you about those couple new programs, the Platinum approval and the FICO expansion down to 550 to 580, and then giving you a foreshadow of the cash to keys that we're going to be teaching in July, and more details will follow.
All right, thank you, Bill. Thank you. Okay, whoops. Oh, here. Sorry, that was my fault. Sorry about that.
Good morning, guys. How's it going? I hate hearing myself on the microphone.
Sorry.
It's fine. A couple of announcements this morning. We had to cancel the pot buy workshop this Thursday. Thank you, Christy, for doing that for us, because our little Alex Bird, aka Birdie, is spreading her wings and flying off. So tomorrow is her last day with Prosper. It's all good. She just, wants to do something different, and I really support her on that. And she's going to be there tonight, though. So you guys, if you signed up, please come out, wish her well. So yeah, really looking forward to hanging with y'all on the boat. And Brandon, one of our agents that works with Cragen, is also going to be there tonight. So you'll get to meet him, and he's really, really awesome. So looking forward to that. And then y'all talked about Jones and Walker being able to do North Carolina now. And for those of you that don't know, if you haven't been using Prosper because you thought we're only licensed in Virginia, we are not. We are also licensed in North Carolina and other multiple states down the eastern seaboard, and further inward too, like Tennessee, Kentucky, etc. So if you've got some buyers purchasing a home in North Carolina, please have them reach out to us. North Carolina is a little bit like the wild, wild west for insurance, and it's not run as smoothly as it is here in Virginia, but our agents are really knowledgeable and educated on North Carolina, deal with North Carolina all the time, so they can guide your clients through the process of insurance in North Carolina. We will get the pot buy workshop rescheduled. I know that everyone really finds value in that workshop. It gives you guys an opportunity to love on your clients and your sphere and provide them something fun and cute and stay in front of them. So we will get that rebooked, and I will talk with Christy about the date and time going forward. It just won't be able to be on that Thursday at 10 because I have a standing meeting every Thursday. And that is it. Any
Right.
questions?
I did have something for you, but now I don't remember what it was. Yes, I did. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Let me search my brain in the depths of the deep, dark areas.
Just a quick little fun reminder while you're
Yeah,
doing
go
that.
ahead.
I think I say this most of the time, but I'm gonna say it again, that Prosper, we also love the environment and giving back. So we do plant a tree for every single policy that
Oh,
we
I didn't know
write.
that.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
We plant a tree for every policy we write, and our clients actually get to choose where the tree goes. So we partner with One Tree Planted, so they're in like the rainforest, and we partner with a company called Sea Tree, so it like can plant it by the water. And to date, we've planted over 85,000 trees.
Oh,
Our goal is a
wow.
million, so help us
That's
reach our goal.
really good. Yeah, you need to like promote that more. That's amazing. That's amazing. I
Okay.
do remember now what it is.
Okay,
And it's really for all the vendors. So agents were asking me like, what do we have that they can take of coastal town? Can I have that for a second? What do we have that we can take of coastal town to different events that you have? We do have tables, we do have tablecloths. As far as like things to hand out, most people like to hand out their business card, right? So with these pop buys, remember, you can make these pop buys also for events that you're going to have with your business card that you can hand them out. So it's a lot of the pop buys last for months. It's not like some have candy, but most of them don't.
Right.
And you can make them and have them for events. It's summer. A lot of people are doing events. The second thing on that though is Cragen and Bill and Sarah and Tina, they probably have, and I'm kind of saying probably because I know that these two, I'm assuming Tina probably does too. Yeah, they probably have swag for you to hand out for them, at your tables too. We also have a backdrop, like you can kind of see the coastal town in the back. That's a huge one. We have a smaller one. We have one co-branded with Craig and Craig and Stone. We have one co-branded with, but there is one in the media room that you can borrow that just has coastal town on it if you don't want a co-branded one with Captain Mortgage and us on it, but there's one that just says coastal town. But if you don't, like, let's just say that that's taken, because we only have one of those, right? Let's say that's taken. I'm sure that these vendors also have that as well of theirs, and you can use that. I'm sure they have tables and tablecloths in case someone does take it. Yes, ma'am, tables, tents, swags, etc. Yes, okay, so Bill Loudon also has the same thing. Anyway, utilize the vendors here for that free stuff for you to be able to hand out at the events. It does help. You might even ask them what events they're doing or they have that you can also co-brand with them. Remember, it goes the opposite way as well. And there might be events that you were going to sign up for that they already are signed up for.
Yeah.
So what you could do is ask them if, hey, can I like split the cost with you, or can I get a table next to you? And it's just more fun, and you have a bigger section there when you do it. So just don't forget those things. That's what I was going to talk about. Okay.
one more thing. Do I have any agents in here that deal with new construction neighborhoods, whether Virginia, North Carolina? Yes, yes. So we're also able to co-brand some flyers for you all that gives insurance estimates on those new construction properties. We can run an estimated home insurance quote and a flood quote and show them what Prosper's premium would be versus the regular, non-Prosper insurance. So if that's something you'd be interested in having at those neighborhoods to hand out to potential buyers and clients, get with me and we can work on that and do that for you for free. And that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
That's
Tina.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, that's okay. I'm gonna put you down. Like that.
The only thing that I wanted to bring up is I see the market's changing and I'm getting the calls. Maddie's getting the calls. Clients are closing again with no warranty. Some are closing with no home inspection. And I just want to do a reminder that if they don't get a home inspection and they move in on day one and the AC is not working, we have no proof that it was in prior working order. So do we think it's going to be covered? No, because we warranty companies, it's not an Achosa thing. I want people to understand, it's not an Achosa thing. It's a warranty industry thing. Warranty companies do not know if the client got the warranty knowing that it's not working, right? So please, please, if you're ever in a situation that you're just not sure if it makes sense, have the client call me or call Maddie so we can set the right expectation. The other thing that just recently came up, and Cregan and I were talking about it, is there are going to be situations that are one-time situations or very rare that doesn't happen. Somebody doing a early possession does not happen every day, right? If somebody calls Matt, I've dealt with it because I've been in the industry for 11 years, but if they call Maddie and ask her about getting a warranty, she's going to go through what she basically knows. The basics is people get a warranty when typically at closing, right? She's not going to know to ask, is that did they do pre-occupancy? Have they been living in the house? Because that's not a normal everyday thing. And we had a situation recently with an agent who called, asked her all the basic questions. The client was supposed to close May 31st. They didn't close till June 6th. No big deal, except for they've been living in the house since April 22nd, and they filed a claim on June 5th for their AC. They had a home inspection, but the home inspection was done back before because they were supposed to have closed, and they did it early occupancy. It all worked itself out. We got the home inspection. It had been working. Everything was fine. But the agent was a little frustrated because they said, well, nobody asked me if it was early occupancy. That doesn't come up every day. So it's not a question that would normally be asked. Okay. So if you ever are in a situation that you're just not sure, or if it's a little odd, please call us. Let us help you. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is, and Madison just gave me these figures. We do paid claims postcards every month for the previous month. And she just did May's yesterday. Anybody want to take a guess how much we paid in claims in May? Just for my territory. I'm not talking about where we're all licensed. $54,811.
You get a bottle of wine.
In paid claims. And of that 54,000, 34,000 of it is AC claims. It's June. People are turning it on. Please do not let your clients close without a warranty. Please, please, please don't let them close, even if they're paying for it. Just let's educate them so they don't go into these homes without it. Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Notes.
Oh, well, I mean, I had Tina up there and then I screwed up. So there we go. Sorry.
Hi. Contracts are looking okay. I really don't have anything major.
Oh, contracts are looking, because we had a lot coming in. Great job, team.
So anybody have any questions before I jump into the new July law stuff?
Yes, Holly had a question on HOA yesterday. Is that in your stuff to talk about? Okay, then that's the only one that I would add.
Because I don't know what her question was though, so I don't know if I'm going to cover it.
Oh, did she not text you
No.
yesterday?
No, not about that.
It wasn't an HOA or POA question? No,
I don't think so. I
okay.
have to go back.
I
and
might be
look.
mistaken.
I've
That's
thought-
okay.
I've slept since then.
Okay, that's good. At least somebody has.
Okay.
Agents don't sleep, right? We don't sleep.
So there's a lot coming down having to do with HOAs and POAs on July 1st. Beginning July 1st, not June 30th, July 1st, buyers will be able to waive the rights to terminate a contract based on HOA or POA documents. They still have to get the documents. They still have to have the right to review the documents, but they can waive the right to terminate the contract based on what they read in those documents.
Just for enjoying the condo.
Both. Both.
So they can-
And let me just say, Lucy says no. Yeah, Lucy says no, 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 no.
It was something with rain, how you didn't have to put something in rain. It was,
Oh, that came down January 1st.
okay, whatever it was a
The-
question that some other people didn't remember. either.
Okay, there is no longer a requirement on the listing side for the resale package documents to be part of the listing. That is now a completely redone document that must be requested by the buyer. The POA 1 and Conres 1
are now part of the buyer's responsibility, not the listing agent's responsibility. Question in the room?
Yes, they're like nunchucking over.
Actually, like a comment, there is actually one time, like waiving the condo docs would have actually been helpful, and that's when you're trying to, if they've already got the condo docs and they've already read through them, and you want to close the day after they've gotten them, then it would be okay to waive that period, because then you don't have to wait the 72 hours.
Right.
I've already been bitten by that rule, because they turned the docs in one day later, and we couldn't close until the day after our closing date, because we couldn't waive that right. So now, actually, you could review the docs in a day and then waive the right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still read.
But
it.
you would have
Still
to,
read.
I believe, I have not yet seen how Rain is going to handle this and what they're going to do to the contract. I have not gotten Rain's updates on this yet. So I don't know if that's something that's going to be part of the purchase agreement. You may have to make that decision up front. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Are they updating the timeline for ordering HOA docs as well?
No, not that I'm aware of, but, the other, okay, so that's the big one right there.
One step to
One step to my left.
There you go.
Oh,
I heard it like, you hear it, it was like almost,
I squeak in. Sorry.
almost, not yet, but.
Okay,
It's actually loose.
it's not nice. From now on, everything, regardless of whether it's condo or property owners association, is going to be referred to as a resale certificate. We will no longer refer to them as disclosure packages. Everything will be a resale certificate.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
okay, that's new.
everything is encompassed in the law in one act now, instead of spread out among multiple acts within the written law, which will make it easier to search if you need to. It'll all be in one form. We have known this forever because we're just those people, but the law now is going to clarify that days are calendar days, not business days, and that Sundays and holidays count as your days. There is now going to be no difference between professionally managed and self-managed association resale certificate packages. Everything is standardized. Everything must be the same starting on July 1st. And along with that, you have standard format for everybody. There will be a new standardized table of contents at the beginning of every resale certificate package that will list exactly what's in it, where to find it, and how to review it. So it's going to help you guys a whole lot and help the buyers review their stuff. And I didn't know that this wasn't a thing, but now the law is going to state that the fee for the package is due when it's ordered. It cannot be paid at closing. Seller's going to have to pay that to get the package. So let your people know that that's an upfront cost. It's the part of the cost of listing your home within a managed community. Okay. Any questions about upcoming HOA, POA changes? And that's just the boilerplate version. Like I said, I haven't seen what Rain's going to do, how they're going to handle it, what our contracts are going to look like. I had hoped to have that information by now, but I don't. So I can't answer any of that yet. Okay.
So
And here's the
Lucy,
other-
now on, Lucy, this is Stacy. So, hi, so now on top of waiving home inspections, instructing your buyers, like, to be more appealing to the seller. I agree with you. Absolutely not waiving that right either. That is crazy.
Well, like Jed pointed out, and I don't think you all could hear because I had the microphone and he didn't. He had an instance where his buyer had already seen the package. It maybe a deal fell through and they already had the packages, and his buyer had seen it and was happy with it and didn't want to wait the 3 days to close. So in those cases where you're able to already see the documents because of a deal that fell through and they've got the package and you just need that updated first page with the money situation. If they've read all of the things and they're happy with it, then yeah, I'd say waiving it is fine. But if you haven't laid eyes on that package, waiving that right to terminate is ridiculous. And that, I say that with utmost emphasis. Okay, here's the other big thing. This is huge in my mind, and I don't know, if Susan and Austin, I think, are gone, but this is going to be a really interesting thing. Settlement agents will be able to remove a lien if the judgment can no longer be satisfied.
Oh.
The example they gave.
Did y'all
was-
hear that? Say that one more time.
A settlement agent will be able to remove a lien if a judgment cannot be satisfied through no fault of the buyer or settlement agent. For instance, the example the attorney for VAR gave was a Circuit City credit card that had gone into default. Circuit City no longer exists. You cannot satisfy that judgment. So if all of the applicable remedies have been taken to clear that judgment and it cannot be cleared, the settlement agent now has the right to waive it. July 1st, not today.
Wow.
July.
That's a pain in the tail in the past.
Okay,
And
so,
this is huge, especially with banks and things that are, you know,
so if the judgment is unable to be satisfied, the settlement agent can wipe it clean.
that's
for
a
you.
huge one. Not that the other ones weren't, but that's a huge one. Wow.
Okay, anybody, that's all I
1974.
have. Everything else that's coming down in July, pretty much revolves around property management. And I don't do property management, so I didn't retain any of that or take notes on it.
I need my little buttons for the.
So, yeah, so as soon as I get rain forms and I know what's coming with that, I'll let you know. Side note, the city of Virginia Beach hates me and I am on the hot seat for jury duty next month.
Oh.
So I may be inaccessible at times next month. I will put it in the Facebook group if I have to actually go in and serve. But as you all know, I have to leave all of my electronics behind.
Bum, bum, bum.
So Lucy's, well, somebody said just wear your I'm with stupid shirt.
Yeah, me and the mentors will back you up.
So just know that I'll post, I have to call in every Tuesday night, find out if I have to show up on Wednesday. And then I'll let you know what happens after that, but next month may be dicey for Lucy Communications.
Okay, that's okay. Hopefully, if you do, it's short period of time.
You can get your boss.
I'll write it in a minute.
Yep, they make pick another time. Get you back in. Okay.
You have to hold a little closer to your mouth. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. A couple of things. North Carolina agents. This is the last year they allowed you to use that you had a active Virginia license for your CE education. Next year, you have to do your CE in North Carolina. Okay. We will remind you several months in advance, so it doesn't slip.
Is
through
there
the
an
cracks.
online option for that?
It is online. I did mine because I live in North Carolina, so I've had to do it along with
How long did it take you?
2 days, half a days, because it's 2 classes. They are 4 hours and they are Zoom.
Do you have to have your,
I did not have to have my camera on,
that's lovely to know.
but you do have to know your license number. And at the beginning of the class, you type in your name and your license number. And occasionally you have to type in a response to a question.
Sure.
Just like the classes were.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then every break, put in your name and license number and so on, so that they know that you're somewhat paying attention.
Yeah. And for
Yeah.
those of you that have just got your license in the last couple of years, remember your 18 months is coming up. You have to do those post classes.
Yep.
Carla will be reminding you all
Yep. I'll be sending out those.
and
lovely
CC me.
notes. Yes. So we have a few. Yeah, we have a few that need to do that as well.
Oh, and let me say,
Oh, go for
when
it.
you're doing when you're doing your continuing education, don't text me with a scenario because you can't find the answer or you don't want to go look up the answer.
Yeah, you're in a class. You're in a class.
I had
No
an
cheating.
agent, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus, but I had an agent text me. It was like 7 o'clock on a Sunday night or something with a scenario that had my brain spinning. It was what happens to a license if the
managing
Yeah.
broker has their license suspended. And so
Nope,
I'm spinning. with,
incorrect.
How in the world are we gonna keep their deal together? I'll figure it out. We'll make it a FISBO because we'll make it a FISBO, we'll take it on, whatever. And come to find out it was just a CE question.
Do you know the answer?
Everybody's licenses have to go back.
No, incorrect. Here.
Nope.
That's what.
Go ahead.
I know, but that's not it.
I know.
Do you know the answer?
I believe I do.
What do you think the answer is?
They have like 30 days to get their license under another broker.
You could do that. Okay, but here's the real big answer. Every brokerage has a backup BIC. Yours is Gail, just so you all know. Gail is the backup BIC. I am the big BIC. She's the tiny BIC.
Okay, this was Virginia.
And, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said North Carolina.
This was
Sorry.
Virginia.
Okay, so North Carolina, there's a backup BIC, just so you know, I thought we were talking about North Carolina. And so yours is Gail. Gail is the backup BIC. And she, if anything happens, she would step in until we get everything situated. And in Virginia, yes, you do have 30 days. Yes.
I was correct.
Yes.
Well done.
Yay. Brokerment training. If you have not done any one-on-ones and you're struggling with brokerment, please call in and schedule one with myself or Blake. We're always happy to sit down and work with you to make sure that you're not struggling with it. Signs. When we changed over from Keller to Coastal Town, we agreed to switch out signs. I believe it was supposed to be about 30 to 60 days to do that. We're at 7 months, so we're done. If you missed the boat, I am so sorry, but sign ordering is done. ACH forms. We went from paying the monthly bill on a credit card to an automatic ACH. I sent out 60 some forms. I've gotten 30 back. So there's about 30 some of you that haven't completed them. A lot are not in this room. I will be reaching out to each one of you today and sending it to you again because we do need to get those done. So that has delayed us from doing the ACH on the 5th of the month for this month. So our scheduled date is the 15th. And then starting July, it will be on the 5th, and then every month going forward, the 5th of the month. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Awesome.
I got the invoice and then right after that, they said, we're doing easy.
Well, we've had the invoice for a few months.
No, I meant for this.
Oh, for this one, yeah. Well, we had the invoice, right? And we thought that was good for an option because we heard everybody say they wanted to be able to do credit card, but then everybody came back after they got the invoice and said they didn't like that. And so they wanted to do ACH. So we're trying to accommodate the masses. But we're not going to switch back again. Like, this is it. Like we switched once, then we switched again. And sometimes you just can't please everybody, right? We're not pizza. So everybody needs a buddy. That's the next thing. There needs to be a buddy system. I can't tell you how many times, especially once spring and summer starts, that somebody texts me and says, I need help. I love each one of you, but finding someone as your backup is not what I want to do. I definitely can do it, but I don't want to do it. Reasoning is, I don't know if the person I choose is going to, be conducive for you, if you guys are going to mesh, if you're not, what you're looking for, what their schedule is, what your schedule is, what your clients have, what you don't have. I need you to make sure you have a backup before you ever go on vacation. Most people have 1 or 2 backups at all times that they keep, in their back pocket. Chrissy and Christy are in each other's back pocket, plus they have a backup for their backup. Jordan, when she had the baby, she had 3 backups ready to go. So just make sure you have a buddy. That way, when you go on vacation, they can help you. And when they go on vacation, you can help them. And when you go on vacation, they can help you. Just get a buddy, have a buddy. Lucy's not your buddy. Carla's not your buddy. Blake is not your buddy. I'm not your buddy because we wouldn't do a good job for you. But you need to make sure you do that. The other thing is, I had 3 agents in the past month call me up and say, hey, who do you know that will co-sponsor, co-brand, or co-market something with me in the office as far as another agent? I don't know. I don't know what everyone's bank account is. I don't know what everyone's calendar is. I don't know who's interested in what. Your best option is to post it in the group, or you all have the roster and you can call people on the roster or text them. Or as another option, you know who your collaborators are. Those are usually the ones that are doing events anyway. You can ask them first and foremost. But again, you know, you need to try to find that on your own. I don't have a list of people that are like, hey, here's a list, put me on a list. And if anybody's interested in co-branding, co-marketing, I just don't have that. I have that for our vendors because there's 10 or less. I don't have it for our agents because there's 105. So you guys need to, you know, communicate, be in the office when there's events, talk to each other. Like tonight, you know, we're having a boat cruise, talk to each other, get things planned out, text each other. You should be able to go out and try to know each other and do things together because we're a family. Mom, AKA me, can't go and start calling everybody to say, hey, here you go. Another thing I can do though is if you have an open house, please, please, please text me the information and the deets. I'm happy to have Maria send that out in a text message so that everybody knows you're having an open house. I think that's a great idea. That did come to me a few times, and I think it's wonderful that it's a copy and paste for me to send to Maria. She can text it out. Another thing that was a great suggestion that we took is that you'll now see marketing that is done for you for just listed, just sold, under contract, ratified. You'll be tagged in it. We're pushing that out for you for extra marketing for you. If we get anything on it, we'll be sending it to you. None of us want to do deals. That's why you're with a brokerage that doesn't do deals as far as the brokers. We're never going to take your leads. We're always going to send them back to you. But you'll see that and you can use it. If you want one made, like you're having a big open house and you want a flyer made or something like that, if you send it to me, I'll have Maria do it. No problem whatsoever. We're happy to help out with your marketing. A lot of brokerages just kind of give you the templates and then let you do it, but we'll do it for you. So it's a little added extra benefit. Maria's having a great time with the admin stuff. So she's going to pump up more and more admin work on that. And I have somebody else who's going to do the recruiting call. So I think that's lovely. And she does a great job. I mean, she really does. And she does it fast. So she also does the little videos and stuff too, if you need her to do that. I think it's great. Next is the event. So tonight is the Sunset Boat Cruise. We do have, I think, 4 spots because we had a couple people that had to cancel last minute. So we do have 4 spots. If anybody wants to come out, we'll make sure that you get on the boat. We have 3 boats, 3 captains. We have Captain Mortgage. We have an actual captain from the, is Andy doing it? Not our Andy. Okay. Captain Andy from the actual boat club. And then my husband's going to be the 3rd captain. So we have plenty of captains. Pick your poison. Know that you're going to have a captain from the boat club. He's going to be slow and steady. Everything is going to be by the book, but he's also probably going to maneuver the best and be able to like kind of take anyone who's maybe on their first time out on a boat. You're going to have my husband who is slow and steady as well, but will pick up the speed if needed. And then you're going to have the party boat. So it's totally up to you. I'll let you figure out who it is. It's totally up to you what speed, what you want to do and how you want to do it. We're going to have appetizers and drinks on the dock for the first hour. And then we're going to go out and we'll see them lower the colors, which is great, which is totally my favorite part of it. But we're going to tour around. You'll get to see some military boats and go out, and it's supposed to be a lovely time. Make sure that you wear shoes with a back on them, no sandals, and make sure that you bring either a blanket or a sweatshirt in case it gets a little chilly. Captain Mortgage, yes. Oh, I do. Okay, so the reason that you need a back on your shoes is whenever you get onto the boat, you could slip or the shoe could come off as you're going onto or off the boat. So what a lot of people do is they'll wear shoes with backing when they get on the boat and then they'll change into others. But you going on and off the boat need to have a backing because people's shoes fall off and then it's just dangerous. Do not wear heels. No, just don't. Just don't wear heels. It's just bad. It gets caught whenever you go on the boat. So some other events that are going on. Of course, every Tuesday at Stump the Broker, we are having more and more people come to this. We need to ramp it up a little bit more. We're going over so many wonderful things. I'm actually bringing Chrissy up here to talk about a blackout. We just went over this She's gonna have about maybe 5 minutes to talk to you about what a blackout is, what you need to do during a blackout, and what you have to do or can do if one happens to come up on you and you didn't know about it. Go ahead, Chrissy, come on up. And then we'll go over the other events and some, yeah. Oh, yes.
So we will not be recording it. However, if you want to do a one-on-one with myself after the fact, we can definitely set that up as well. And I can do that through Zoom or something.
He said that we cannot record the Reels one for next week, but what we could do is a private one here for everybody in the office. We will have a Reels one here if we have enough interested. If you could text me to let me know if you are interested in learning about how to do Reels and what to do with them, we can have it here with a media room, and Greg and I will lead that. Just let me know if you're interested and we will pop that in. I'm going to hand it over to Chrissy and blackout in your block. Appropriate.
Hey, guys. So I recently had a blackout, communication blackout with my client that
Explain what it is first.
on the Ford. It is a military communication blackout. The Ford is currently on her first world tour. Her entire strike group is with her, and they keep going into a complete communication blackout for ops, which means no communication in, no communication out. All emails are blocked. Nobody has access to any kind of Wi-Fi. They do not have access to Wi-Fi until they are off the boat in a port, and they pay for it separately. If your client is on one of these boats, know that unless they have leave and can get off that boat and do not have duty, they will not be able to communicate with you even when they are in port. They cannot turn their cell phones on at all on the ship in any way, shape, or form. They have been barred from it. They're going into what is called screaming eagle, which means no communication. That is not through military email. Everything is blocked. You cannot use AuthentiSign or Brokerment to have your client sign anything that is inside of the strike group currently. It does work on some other ships, but it will not work on this one. You have to send everything via POA, or not POA, I'm sorry. You have to send everything via PDF, and they are going to have to print, sign, scan, and send back unless they have their own Adobe scan program, and they need to talk to their chain of command about that. Okay.
Yep, thanks. Yeah. So we went over that in detail, more at Stump the Broker. So just know that we have a lot of great things there. I mean, it's every Tuesday from 10 to 11. I would definitely be there if it was me. We do have next Tuesday after Stump the Broker. It's not going to be Mortgage 101. It is actually going to be Notapalooza, where Craigan comes in and you guys can actually handwrite notes to all your clients. It's a wonderful event, and we handwrite them. He brings in the supplies, and then we'll be able to send them off. So it's a great event. The 21st is, we're going to say, so you want to start a team. Anybody that wants to start a team, I am actually leading that up, and I'm happy to talk to you about that. Weird Shit in Real Estate on the 22nd is about mold, which is going to be good. And then the additional ones that we have ongoing. Now, I will tell you this. We have, whoops, sorry, we'll go back 1 second. We have every month, Nikki does a class, and she does it on script training. And it was amazing this last time. I popped on, some ISAs were on there. It was really, really good. What wasn't on there was our agents, which is crazy to me, because the people who set the most appointments in the office and have the most closings are the ones that's leading this. And you guys didn't even, come in to see what the scripts were that they were using. She made live calls in front of everybody and talked to live people. So that, she literally did a for sale by owner, withdrawn, like she called them up right then and there, found the number and said, let's do it, so that you could hear exactly what she says and does. It's really good. So why you're not coming, I have no idea. I don't care if you're tenured, if you're not. At some point, you're going to have to make calls one way or another to get your business. Even if you don't, you're going to have to hire an ISA too. You have to make calls, even if it's to your past clients. She does all of this right in front of you for free. It's crazy that you guys are not showing up for it. It blows my mind. It's like if you had 30 minutes with Bill Gates, someone's listening, if you had 30 minutes with Bill Gates for free, whether you liked him or you didn't, you'd show up for 30 minutes to listen to what he has to say, because you had that 30 minutes for free every month. just to learn something, just to get inside and say, y'all are not taking advantage of that with Nikki and Munesh, which is nuts to me. So make sure you come to that. We already had it this month. The next one will be in July. And now we're going to welcome the new agents. Here we go. Maybe. And Anaya Bell. All right. I don't see, she was supposed to be here, but she didn't. Maybe she's on, she might be on Zoom. Maybe she's on Zoom. Congratulations, Anaya. Thank you for coming. Testimonials, we have Rebecca with her testimonial. Remember to send it to me and I'll have Maria do this and put it on Facebook for you. It's great advertising for you. Great job, Rebecca, on your testimonial. You can read it there. It's also on our Facebook group. And then we have our cappers. So we, this month had Chrissy who capped. Congratulations, Chrissy. And then you can see up there in the top left, in 24 hours, Nikki and Munesh in one day, guys. One day, complete record. I'm not sure if they're ever going to beat their own record. Like now we're down to hours. Like it would have to be like, and not even days, like one day. Like that is huge. That is huge. Congratulations to Munesh Nikita Holmes on that. I think it's amazing. You guys did a great job. And then here we are with our top agents by units and volume. Oops, or not. I know it's not playing. Oh. No, it's not because they're a team. So I see that one does it. I don't know why that one isn't doing it. Oh, man. Maria, are you on here by chance? I really wanted. All right. Maybe it's in this one. Maybe that's just. Oh, there we go. There we go. Congratulations, $1 Million Club. We did have Nikki and Munesh pop onto the $1 Million Club as well, 2.69 million last month. That looked a little bit under that is what you need in order to cap. It's not a lot, guys. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. They did it in one day, though. They did it in one day. All right, happy birthday. Bill, look at Bill up there jamming to the happy birthday song. He's like, all right. Happy birthday. I saw Bill up there, Bill Loudon jamming to the happy birthday song, which is hilarious. All right, we're going to close in prayer and then everyone can go. And we are done 7 minutes early. How about that? Lord, thank you so much for this wonderful team. And thank you for all the business that you are bringing to them and to us. It is your business and we are happy to help the people that you put in front of us and for us. We pray for the ones that aren't here. We pray for the ones that are out doing business right now. We pray for the ones that are on Zoom as well, along with our family members, their family members, friends, family, and our area. Our area needs a lot of prayer right now as well. We have a lot of people in the area that are military, and some people have went out, some people are coming in, but either way, they are out there fighting for us. And so we just lift them up in prayer as well, and their families that are here. And it's in your name we pray. Amen. Go out and be prosperous, guys. Have a great week. Yes, yeah, tonight will be good times. Good times, good times.